God, what is going on? Why is Joseph not back yet? My God, I hope something bad have not happened on his way back. Just 5 more orders and I should be done and go back home to my wife. Joseph and his wife Flora lives in a small town in Bakoko City. Joseph is a hard-working man who does door-to-door delivery job to feed his wife and himself. Joseph's wife is heavily pregnant and she's expected to give birth in 2 months' time. And because his wife is pregnant, he was restless because he has not saved any money for the unborn child. Joseph, I have told you to stop worrying. Just do the best you can do and leave the rest to God, Flora said. My dear, in 2 months' time, you will go into labor. I don't even have any money saved for hospital bills, talk more of baby clothes, food. My God, see me through this, Joseph said. What if we take a loan, then we pay small? I think that is better, Flora said, feeling pity for Joseph. I don't think that is a good idea. I just need to work harder to sort this out, Joseph said. Joseph did not know how he can go about it as his wife is heavily pregnant, and so he decided to work harder than before so that he can save money for his wife's hospital bills and for baby care. However, the decision he made turned his life around. Flora, my dear, let me go and deliver some items. I will be back before you know it. By this time? It is late already. Can't you do it tomorrow? Flora said. My dear, I need to work hard. We need money. I'll be back soon, I promise, he said. Please, don't take long. I will be waiting for you, Flora said. And so Joseph went into his car and he drove off that night. Just 5 more orders and I should be done and go back home to my wife. That night, Joseph was going for his last order when he was pulled over by the police. He saw them from a short distance, but he continued to drive towards them as his hands were clean. Calm down, the officer shouted. Joseph did not hear at first because the window of his car was closed, and when he lowered the car window, he said, "What is going on, officer? Are you okay? I said you should calm down." But instead of Joseph to obey as the officer have commanded, he started arguing with the policeman. He said, "Sir, I am waiting for my last order and my wife is waiting for me. She is pregnant." And the policeman shouted, "My friend, are you normal? I say you should come down from the car now." And then the officer signaled one of his colleagues, and when they came, they marked Joseph as a suspect and they called the station to inform them about a certain suspect who wouldn't come down from his car. "Hello? Andrew reporting from duty, sir." "Yes, state your complaints." "We have a suspect in red car on black shirt and the male gender. He has refused to step down from his car. I'm requesting permission to act with force, sir." "Permission granted to use force by any means necessary." "Alright, understood, sir." "Oga, I have told you I don't have time for this. I have order and my wife is waiting for me. Will you shut up?" And the officer slid his hand through the car window with force and he opened the door and he grabbed Joseph. "Oga, what is the meaning of this? Is this how you people operate?" Joseph said. "You were proving stubborn, and so we had no choice but to use force," the policeman said. And the officer searched inside Joseph's car, but they couldn't find anything suspicious. And suddenly, a bad smell started coming from inside the car. The policeman was shocked immediately. He said, "Where is that bad smell coming from?" And he said again, "I know there's something fishy going on the moment you started complaining." And he told Joseph to open the boot of his car. But Joseph kept on saying, "There's nothing there, officer. You people are just wasting my time." And immediately Joseph opened the boot of his car. What they saw was something unbelievable. Joseph's chest started pounding. He couldn't believe his eyes. What? Is that a lifeless body? One of the officers said in surprise, and another officer shouted, "You evil man! Arrest him!" Joseph could not say a word as they were putting handcuffs on his hands. His mouth was trembling and was shaking really bad. He could not speak properly, and the officer said, "Mr. Joseph, you are under arrest. Anything you say or do will be used against you in the court of law." And they took Joseph into the car and drove off. While Joseph was shouting, "I didn't do it. I don't understand. This is a setup. Officer, please, listen to me." "Shut up. You will face the law," one of the officers said. And it was midnight, and Joseph still hasn't returned back home. Flora was worried about her husband, Joseph. She tried calling him, but his phone was switched off. She became more worried. God, what is going on? Why is Joseph not back yet? My God, I hope something bad have not happened on his way back. And why is his phone switched off? I told him not to go, but he kept on insisting. What kind of thing is this? Flora said as she was worried about her husband, Joseph. And she couldn't wait, and she went to bed that night. The next day, Joseph was begging one of the officers in the police station as he was locked up in cell. "Officer, please, let me call my wife. Let me at least let her know my current situation. Please, officer." And the officer said, "People like you don't deserve to speak, so shut up." And George said, "But I did not do it. I don't even know how he entered into my car." And the officer said, "Did it vanish inside by itself? You better save this speech and use them in court." Joseph sat down without any hope to reach his wife at home because he knew she would be worried. And few hours passed, and to Joseph's surprise, he saw someone that he has done delivery job for before. The woman came to the police station to give some complaints, and while she was passing through the station, she saw Josh, and she was shocked at that very moment. "Mr. Josh, what are you doing here? What did you do?" the woman asked. "It was all a misunderstanding. Please, can you help me call my wife? I need to let her know that I am here," Joseph said. "That is okay," the woman said. And Joseph gave the woman his wife's phone number, and she said, "I am low on airtime now, but when I reach my shop, I will definitely call her." "Ah, thank you, Joseph said. And as the woman was leaving, she began to wonder what Joseph must have done to be in that situation. And as she was going, she asked one of the officers on duty the reason why Joseph was locked up in a cell. And he said, "That evil man, we found a lifeless body in the boot of his car, and that person happened to be one Chief Eze." And the woman was shocked immediately. She said, "What? Chief Eze is gone? Did you know the man?" the police officer asked. "Yes, I know him. He is one of my customers. It has been long I saw him, but how? How can this be?" the woman said. "Well, the suspect have refused to talk how he did it. He kept on lying that he does not know anything about it, and the chief's body was found in his car," the officer said. And the woman said, "This is a shocking news." And the officer asked, "Did you know him?" However, because the woman was scared, she denied and said, "No, I did not. I was just asking, that's all." And she left the police station that morning. My God, Chief Eze is no more? Someone that I saw 2 months ago? Did Mr. Joseph really do it? I thought he's a good man. Yes, let me drive quickly and call his wife. I believe she must be worried by now. What is going on? It's almost midday and I haven't heard from my husband. Thank God. What kind of thing is this? Flora said as she was worried. Hello? Yes, good morning. Who am I speaking with, please? Am I speaking to Joseph's wife? Yes. Who is this? Your husband does delivery job for me, the woman said. Okay, so do you want to speak to my husband? I'm afraid he's not at home at the moment. Yes, about that. Please listen carefully. Your husband have been arrested by the police for the murder of Chief Eze. His body was found in his car, and immediately Flora, Joseph's wife, heard those words. She froze at that very moment. She could not process the words that came out of the woman's mouth, and she fell on the ground and went into a premature labor because of the shocking news she received from the phone call. And she started shouting and crying for help. Her neighbor rushed to her house when she heard the loud sound like a fall, and she was surprised to see Flora on the ground with water coming out of her, and she shouted, "Help! Help!" But no one was there, and she said, "Oh my God, how am I going to do this?" And she managed to carry Flora into her car, and she started driving towards the nearest hospital. Flora cried out of the pain she felt. "We are almost there. We are almost there. Just hold on a little," the woman said. "Doctor, nurse, anyone, who is there?" Grace shouted, and one of the nurses in the hospital ran out, and she asked, "What is happening?" And Grace, Flora's neighbor, said, "She is in a labor. It hasn't gotten to 9 months yet," she said. "Don't worry, I will make proper arrangement and get ready for the delivery," the nurse said. And so that moment, they took Flora into the labor room. My God, what may have caused this? How did she even fall at first place? And where is her husband? At a time like this, Grace said. And it was 2 hours later, the crying of the newborn woke Flora's neighbor, Grace, from her sleep. "It's the baby. Thank God. I hope Flora is okay." Flora cried as she saw a child for the first time. A child that was born on the 7th month.